poking out of the tree line. After the agent fired a service weapon in the direction of the rifle, a witness saw a man later identified as Ralph.
Because I'm trying to do a live stream and I am being jammed right now.
From the Martin County Sheriff's Office, in coordination with the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office. The complaint alleges that in the area of the tree line from which Ralph fled, agents found a digital camera.
Well, I am attempting to do an update on this live stream.
Rifle with a scope and a black plastic bag containing
I am being blocked.
The serial number on the rifle was obliterated. According to the complaint, Ralph was convicted of felonies in North Carolina in December 2002
Come on.
and March 2010, and therefore was prohibited from possessing.
That's not.
Investigation remains at its early stages. The entire Justice Department,
There we go.
including the FBI
All
and
right,
the United
folks.
States Attorney's Office for the Southern District of Florida,
Now, I
and the
should
National
have
Security
this
Division
on.
are coordinating closely with our law enforcement partners to fully investigate and prosecute this matter. The charges we're announcing reflect a strong collaboration of the agencies represented here. The U.S. Attorney's Office, the Department of Justice, would be unable to carry forth our mission without the invaluable assistance of our federal, state, and local law enforcement partners.
Are we doing this out of feature?
I'd like to thank the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives.
Okay.
And we have Chris Robinson here.
Now, open. I can see here what's going on.
And U.S. Secret Service for the invaluable assistance they have provided, they have been providing. I would also like to recognize the Palm Beach County and Mountain
So,
County
folks,
Sheriff's
this is
offices
happening here
throughout
at
the
Tip from
Again, without the local
Real America's Voice 24/7.
would be literally
They're-
impossible to accomplish
The
because
state of Florida is having to do their own investigation regarding the second assassination attempt on Trump.
I want to personally express my
Because, of
gratitude
course,
to the attorneys
first-
with the U.S. Attorney's Office for the
Most
Southern
people
District
now
of Florida.
know that,
In the counterterrorism section,
the
of
Secret
Justice
Service,
Department's National Security
along with
Division,
other
for
agencies, are
nonstop
basically
for the last
letting
24 to 30 hours.
crazy people
Together, we'll continue to work tirelessly to ensure accountability and pursuit of justice.
take an
It's
attack
not
on the
only
president. And
FBI
there seems to be
Special
some
Agent
aid
Charge
given these
Jeff
people.
Beltry for the
This
voting.
event that Trump was at was
After
not
Special
supposed to
Agent
be
in charge Beltry completes his remark, Acting Director of the U.S. Secret Service, Ron Rowe, will provide remarks before we open the floor for a few questions. On our end, given that this is a pending matter for the court and the investigation is ongoing, all comments will be limited. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon. For a quick introduction, my name is Jeffrey Beltry, FBI Special Agent in charge for the Miami Field Office. The FBI immediately responded to the scene here in West Palm Beach, Florida, and we are investigating this matter as an apparent assassination attempt of former President Trump. We view this as extremely serious and are determined to provide answers as to what led up to the events which took place. I want to emphasize we're just a little over 24 hours into this investigation, so we're going to provide as much as we can publicly while our investigation is still ongoing. We must. The United States Attorney's Office is pursuing charges, and that limits some of the details that we can discuss publicly. Yesterday afternoon, Martin County Sheriff's Office took custody of Ryan Ralph, and he was transported back to Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office. Our FBI agents then attempted to interview him, and he invoked his right to an attorney. In the last 24 hours, the FBI and our partners have been dedicated to investigating the incident and utilizing all available resources. These efforts have included our investigative team and the United States Attorney's Office for the Southern District of Florida, in conjunction with DOJ's National Security Division, are actively working hand in hand to pursue and subsequently execute search warrants. Thus far, the warrants include a video recording device, subjects' cellular devices, a vehicle, and other electronic devices located at previous known addresses. We are coordinating with the United States Secret Service to complete numerous interviews of agents on scene.
It looks like this guy was.
We have also interviewed 7 civilian witnesses at the scene, and that is just the beginning. Our FBI's Honolulu and Charlotte field offices have initiated interviews of several family members, friends, and former colleagues of the subject. FBI has deployed several specialty teams and assets from FBI headquarters and our lab division in Quantico to include evidence and critical incident response personnel. The evidence response team is collecting and processing multiple evidentiary items. These range from the rifle, which is an SKS model with a scope and obliterated serial numbers, to 2 bags, the subject's electronics, and what appears to be ceramic tiles. DNA has also been collected from those items, which are being sent to Quantico for testing. We will also process the subject's vehicle for evidence. The Cellular Analysis Survey Team, what we refer to as CAST, conducted thorough analysis of the subject's cellular device locations. The CAST analysis aligns with witnesses' account.
We're told in Genesis chapter 1,
Whoa.
26, that God has made man in his image, and by his likeness has he made him.
Genesis is a book of fundamental
They had an ad
importance
cut in. Sorry, let's see if I can find out where else this is happening live. Let me see if they're talking about it on here.
Yes, we are. And yes, you are going to stick around. Some people in our that work on Redact.
Let's see if Benny's got it.
He was on the FBI radar. Incredible.
Yesterday
Insane.
afternoon,
Sorry, man.
this country was reminded of the heightened
Benny's doing.
and dynamic threat environment the United States Secret Service and its protectees face on a daily basis. Immediately following the assassination attempt of former President Donald J. Trump on July 13th, the Secret Service moved to increase assets to an already enhanced security posture for the former president. In the days that followed, President Biden made it clear that he wanted the highest levels of protection for former President Trump and for Vice President Harris. The Secret Service moved to sustain increases in assets and the level of protection sought. And those things were in place yesterday. At approximately 1:30 p.m., former President Trump was playing golf during an off-the-record movement to the Trump International Golf Course. The Secret Service advance agent supporting the front edge of the agency's layered approach to protection encountered an individual attempting to secrete himself in the wood line. This happened, the alleged gunman was on the public side of the fence near the 6th green. A layered approach of security is integral to the Secret Service's protective methodologies, and it's also the key to our success. As former President Trump was moving, and it's also the key to our success.
Okay, sorry about that, folks.
As former President Trump was moving through the 5th fairway across the course and out of sight of the 6th green, the agent who was visually sweeping the area of the 6th green saw the subject armed with what he perceived to be a rifle and immediately discharged his firearm. The subject, who did not have line of sight to the former president, fled the scene. He did not fire or get off any shots at our agent. With reports of gunfire, the former president's close protection detail immediately evacuated the president to a safe location. The protective methodologies of the Secret Service were effective yesterday. The former president's protective apparatus allowed for the early identification of the threat and led to a safe evacuation.
Ladies dropped their guns
the increased
or
assets directed by President Biden were in place yesterday. These included the counter-sniper team elements, counter-surveillance counter-surveillance agents on the exterior.
Well, we're not going to find out how this guy
local
made
tactical assets from the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office and counter unmanned aerial system elements.
That was not
all announced. Of these entities were present yesterday. And while all of these assets were in place, as I've said publicly, we must satisfy the basic
which was the same weapon used by another Bernie Sanders guy to shoot
in
at
partnership with local law
a while
enforcement.
ago.
We did just that. And the agent's hypervigilance and the detailed swift action was textbook. And I commend them and our partners for an exemplary response in keeping former President Trump safe. And I will tell you, having served in local law enforcement in Palm Beach County, I can state that
Dan
I
Bongino
am
has
tremendously
this. Is there a
impressed
mole
and
inside the
appreciative
Secret
for all of
Service?
the efforts of the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office and Sheriff Schneider with the Martin County Sheriff's Office. But what was critical to this was the quick reaction, the response, the hypervigilance of the men and women of the United States Secret Service,
Hate it when it does it.
who since July 13th have been rising to meet
No,
an
I don't want that.
unprecedented and hyper-dynamic threat
Didn't
environment.
want that at all.
And they are rising to this moment, and I could not be more proud of them and the way they have executed, not only yesterday, but what they're doing today and what they are doing tomorrow and what they will always do because it is their duty. Thank you.
You know what? I don't need this.
All right, well, go slow here, folks. All right, don't everybody do it at once. Ask who you want to answer the question, and then give the question.
I have a question for you, Director. Is there any evidence to suggest that the suspect knew that Donald Trump?
Of course, they don't have mics, so you can't hear them.
And was the golf course
So we'll have to repeat the question.
before the former president's arrival?
So at this time, it was an off-the-record movement, meaning it was not on the former president's official schedule. And what I go back to is the layered approach, the elements and the methodologies of the Secret Service. There was a front element. It did its job in sweeping ahead of the president. That's what identified this individual who was in that wood line.
Okay.
And the swift action of that agent doing his job, pushing out ahead, sweeping while the president was behind him, several hundred yards and several holes away, out of sight from the gunman, did his job. And that's
like how the kid know to go
alerted
up on
the detail
the slightly sloped roof that the FBI and Secret Service conveniently not
based on what I know now, and it's an active investigation, I don't have any information on that.
Well, Harry Parker.
How many times did your agents go around the perimeter and scope out the golf course during the 12 hours?
Again, they don't have mics for the reporter.
So this was an off-the-record movement. It wasn't a site that was on his scheduled. It wasn't part of his schedule. So there was no posting up of it because he wasn't supposed to have gone there in the first place. Garrett Haig.
How do you brief former President Trump on your findings so far? And has his campaign asked for any changes in his security going forward after yesterday?
So, sorry. So I've had a conversation with the former president. We've explained and we've worked with the campaign. The president is aware that he has highest levels of protection that the Secret Service is providing him. We constantly evaluate based on threat. And yesterday, what we show is that our agents and our protective methodologies, and there's a lot of tactical assets in place, things that have been put in place as a result of what happened 60 days ago, those elements are working, and that demonstrates the redundancies that we have. And so we constantly evaluate. We'll of course, look at this and see what lessons learned from it. But as of right now, we are constantly evaluating that threat. And if we need to ratchet up,
I would ask, how did Roth know what Trump was? Doing the Secret Service will be fired and jailed for yet another mistake.
Florida in general, when he arrived in.
If I could, that's
a question probably for the FBI.
How we're going to find out about this guy.
We're in the process of collecting a lot of evidence,
and
that will be part of that investigation to determine his whereabouts going back quite some time. That's part of the investigation as well. Again, that's going to be a little bit challenged until we're able to determine the serial number on that gun. So we're hopeful to be able to do that. We're still looking.
So it wasn't SKS, not an AK. They're both shoot the same caliber gun, 7.62 by 3.9.
Communication then being that President Biden ordered the highest level of protection.
Do you want to take this, Sheriff?
Okay.
Again, they really should have.
So here's the deal. When it comes to Secret Service protection, we provide the highest level. So, for example, yesterday, counter assault team elements. I'm not going to go into the number of personnel that we have out there, but we have the highest levels of the Secret Service. When we work with the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office, Like, for example, yesterday, during that emergency action response, we had their local tactical team assets partner with our local tactical team assets. We had their helicopter up in the air, providing us 360 and situational awareness of the overhead for if there were any potential threats coming at us. So what we did yesterday was exercise our emergency plan based on the number of tactical assets and the highest level of protection that we are providing. The sheriff and I have talked. Now, clearly, when you go down Southern Boulevard right now and you try to get over to Palm Beach and you see the robust presence that's existing outside of Mar-a-Lago, the heavy uniform presence, the additional assets of the Secret Service. And for those of you that were here in 2017, when the president was in office, when you look at that footprint now and you look at it today, there's not much difference there. There's heavy uniform presence out there. And again, what I go back to is yesterday was an off-the-record movement, off the record. And the president wasn't even really supposed to go there. It was not on his official schedule. And so we put together a security plan, and that security plan worked.
Can I know that the Secret Service has asked for additional resources?
Being in the vicinity, especially in Belfry, in terms of him being in the vicinity, based on his phone records, is there any evidence to show that Ralph was in the vicinity in the area before Sunday? And when you say in the vicinity, does that mean right there at that spot in those bushes, or could it have been, down the street at a restaurant?
It was in very close proximity to where he was spotted by the Secret Service. In terms of your first question, whether he was there earlier, our investigation is still looking to determine that.
All right, whoa. We're going to do two more. You get one. All right. Only two more. You get one.
There wasn't
The Secret Service has asked Congress for additional resources since the Butler rally. Have you received those resources yet?
So thank you for that question. So we
what
are
are we
working.
going to do about Rachel Vindman?
Look, the Secret Service operates under a paradox of zero fail mission, but also that we have done more with less for decades. And this goes back many decades, right? What I can tell you is that we have immediate needs right now, and we have great support, not only from President Biden, and you saw his public statement today, where he said that he's going to direct his staff to make sure that the Secret Service has the resources it needs. We're having fantastic conversations with members of Congress. I've been up to the Hill last week. We are continuing to have those conversations, but the long and short of it is this. Coming out of Butler, I have ordered a paradigm.
The Biden administration finally agreed to ban Peter Day's act.
So anyway, it's about over. I don't know why they were praising, what's his name? Idiot Biden. He didn't have anything to do to help out with this.
We're doing everything from very high-end executive security to aviation and training.
Stan Bongino recording some
3,500.
kind of
That's
other
it's pretty large company.
statement.
Brigade size.
Yeah. With other protective companies that did executive protection around the world, how did you guys rack and stack? Were you one of the largest companies, one of the smaller companies?
I'd say we were.
Okay, I'm not going to go into that. Share this and that. This is somebody who needs to be fired. It's Rachel Vindman. She's the wife of a Democrat who's running for, I believe, Congress. She's a co-host of the SWP pod. And this is, she's just an apology. I have deleted my tweet. It was flippant and political violence is a serious issue. Immigrants are political. And then she tries to deflect by saying, well, everybody else does it. So she doubled down. And here's a response. An advisor. This is by a gay guy who was attacked by, one of the Antifa. You chuckled and tripled down. Sorry you're triggered. I mean, no doubt. I don't care a bit. No ears were harmed. Carry on with your Sunday afternoon. This is what this witch tweeted about after the second assassination attempt. There's a lot of language here. I'm not going to read it all, but yeah, basically, this sicko leftist woman who's, again, husband's running, I think it's Eugene Vindman's running for Congress, mocked people, mocked the Trump assassination attempt. And yeah, most likely what happened is some advisor came by and sat her down and said, look, you need to restage this. And then, of course, this is now trending, staged assassination attempt. So now the leftists are going to say that somehow they staged another guy, just like they supposedly staged the last assassination attempt and got Trump to get into the matrix so he could dodge a bullet to the point it would only graze his ear on camera. That's how nutty these leftists are. And see, people like this, in a just world, this person would resign. And they equate Trump talking about how the Haitian illegal aliens are eating the dogs and eating the cats with being shot at. That somehow incites violence. No, that's not inciting violence. That's a fact. They have police reports. I don't know if there's any other live stream conferences or not. Because what happens is they do live, but then they go to commercial. And I thought the Tampa Bay, whatever news network would stay live for whatever reason, but I guess not. This was Fox 16 Tampa Bay. It looks like the press conference is over. I showed it 28 seconds ago. It ended. Yep, that's the state of our nation now. Lefties are running around being able to shoot at people. There was another really stupid tweet I want to talk about. It was by Shannon Watts, who used to work for the poisoning group Monsanto. They're the ones that poison lots of people. And no, I'm not just saying that. They've been sued for millions of dollars for that. She did PR for them, and now she was hired by Bloomberg for trying to take away our guns. She runs the group Moms Demand. And I think there's another subgroup called Students Demand. So here the media is trying to downplay the attempt. He didn't have a line of sight, never fired his weapon. So that's okay. So if you take an SKS and park a few hundred yards in front of somebody with the intent to kill him, but don't actually do it, I guess it's okay, according to the AP and to Shannon Watts. But there was a really stupid tweet. It's almost like we should actively prevent criminals convicted of possessing weapons. If they're criminals, they're going to get them anyway. This guy, by the way, had international connections. He'd been to Ukraine. He'd been all over the world. This guy, like I said, this guy should have been in jail a long time ago. And like people are saying, yeah, these stupid why don't you just, how about this, Shannon Watts? Why don't you just put a gun-free zone signs there? Just disband the Secret Service and use gun-free zone signs. And it just says gun-free zone, and that'll stop it. Idiot. And this other, I'm sure this idiot has said something similar. And by the way, Moms Demand, that they're all over the nation, and they're a AstroTurf fake grassroots group that tried to take away guns. I think I have them on my YouTube page of when they came over to Little Rock and tried to push for red flag laws. Probably would have gotten it if there had been, if enough, because our former governor, Asa Hutchinson, hung out with them. Thankfully, enough conservatives within the state of Arkansas made sure, mainly gun owners of Arkansas, made sure that was shot down. But yeah, these idiots are out there. So anyway, looks like the press conference is over. Florida is going to do their own investigation. We're probably not going to find out who this dude was. He's either going to pull an Epstein or disappear. But basically, another leftist tried to shoot people. Was mysterious in how he was able to find out where. Somehow was fed information on where Trump was, and likely aided by some quasi-government agency to assassinate the person who's running for office and will likely be president, barring any massive amounts of cheating that the Democrats will try to do with the aid of Republican establishment types. So that's it. That's the update. That was the press conference. Sorry for bouncing around. Thanks to Benny Johnson and Real America's Voice for broadcasting that, and for Tampa Bay Fox 13 in Tampa. You all have a great day.